We love the chief, we love the chief, we love the chief, we love the chief. He's our big chief, he's our big chief. We love the chief, we love the chief. Out of the cradle of American civilization as we know it, after the white people exterminated the Indian nations, after they stole the lands of the native peoples.
James Booker, Professor Longhair, where are you now? You should see that New Orleans is still ready for a hell of a good time soul party. Here I am, riding in New Orleans during the Mardi Gras time. Radio playing Mardi Gras Indians chants. Sweet night. And now I go pick up John Sinclair.
Oh, they coming and nobody running.
Holly John. He can do anything he wants, really.
I meet the people on a Mardi Gras day.
You can't stop this man. Never could.
Well, I don't give a damn what the police say. Green, white, blue, got the blue. I got the gold.
Some friends to meet again after a year off the city.
Hey, French, and they're all here. Come on.
Next door, at French's Gallery, some are taking it easy. I find myself commissioned at the piano, and so John starts improvising in his spoken word style.
It's always been blues down there. Always will be until the end of
Every party in New Orleans is a music fest, including the Mardi Gras street parties, of course.
John, this is the Treme neighborhood.
Yeah. And around that corner, Backstreet Culture Museum.
It used to be one of the neighborhoods where jazz started, right?
Yes.
That's 100 years ago. Well, these neighborhoods are mostly black neighborhoods.
Yeah.
So when you live here, you felt no problems being integrated in black neighborhoods?
Because, you know, one thing they never say in America, segregation is a one-way street. It's the white people who do the segregating and the discriminating, not the black people. Having some heart, caring about other people, that's what we need.
Today is Sunday, and it is known that every Sunday New Orleans has a club marching on.
Well, these clubs are organized for fun. They're called social aid, and pleasure club. Social aid, they take care of each other, make sure you're buried right. Or if you get sick, you know, and pleasure. One part of the pleasure is once a year, every club has its Sunday parade.
People's joining the march for walking in the streets. And they form what is called a second line. This second line is taking place in between Treme and Marigny areas. Music is all around, and if one wants to catch the good radio station, one has to go to WWOZ.
One of my true heroes, one of the men who has given so much to this radio station and to the city of New Orleans and to the people around the world who love real music. We have with us today my hero, John Sinclair.
Hey, Mark. Nice to be here, baby. You're looking
For
good.
those of you who don't know, John was a great DJ here, both with his New Orleans music show and my very favorite, his late night Saturday Blues and Roots show. I could hear that on the way back from the gig. I could call up John and say, "Hey man, you got any Magic Sam?" And he'd be like, "I got 5 queued up." The man who helped bring you the legendary and groundbreaking MC5 out of Detroit in the 60s. The man who brought you the Ann Arbor Blues and Jazz Festival in the 70s in Michigan. The man who has put his life, his mind, his freedom, and everything for real on the line to make the world a better place for you through music and love and understanding. The one and only John Sinclair back here with us.
Thanks, Mark. I'm going to fall off my chair.
Hey man, I'm happy to see you, bro. One of the men who pointed me in a lot of great directions in my life. John Sinclair. Here's his brand new recording just in time for Mardi Gras. We love Big Chief.
We love Big Chief. We love Big Chief. We love Big Chief. We love Big Chief. He's our Big Chief. He's our Big Chief. We love Big Chief. We love Big Chief. After the white people brought their slaves from West Africa or Haiti or the markets of Charleston or New Orleans and herded them onto the plantations and worked them like mules from dawn to dark. Oh, there's a parade coming. Let's go catch it.
This is family fun, really. It looks like half of the city is watching the other half parading. Can't even be funky on a saddle. Quite a gap with this obscure bar uptown, where the Creole Wild West tribe is in full Indian practice.
Mardi Gras. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. Good time to go.
And while downtown, the traditional Mardi Gras is already filling up the streets, we drop uptown to watch the Zulu parade pass by. Zulu is the black parade, and it's going on across a no-tourist area. Zulu has a special historic meaning, since it was created 100 years ago by the black people of New Orleans to bounce off the official Good Society carnival going on downtown. To be king of Zulu always was a very honorific status. Louis Armstrong himself was voted king of Zulu in 1949. But now we go a few blocks further, so to reach 2nd Avenue and Dryads, territory of the wild Indians who perform in the back streets of New Orleans. It is still very early in the day when the first of these incredible birds come out. Their astonishing gestures, their flamboyance fascinates. The tradition dictates that the Mardi Gras Indians work all year on the making of their suits, because a suit cannot be used more than one season. Otherwise, it would mean disgrace and derision from members of the other tribes. Mardi Gras Day is the main event of the year, but a few days later comes the St. Joseph Night. It's now 10 o'clock in the morning, and the miraculous spirits of New Orleans are coming loose.
Yes, indeed.
John, you were telling me this is the center of the world, ain't it?
My world. The Emperor Center. 2nd and Dryad, Mardi Gras days. Can't beat it. America at its best.
The Mardi Gras Indians perform this wild, soulful cult for more than 100 years, and its spirit is made of magnificence and defiance. They celebrate an annual tribute to the native Indians who resisted the white man and never surrendered. Also, the native Indians sometimes help Africans to escape their condition of slavery by accepting them in their villages.
The heritage of the Mardi Gras Indians goes back a long way to the early colonial era. You know, they're descendant of the Maroons who refused to be slaves. There goes the Mardi Gras Day in New Orleans in the wild Indians' territory. The Mardi Gras Indians, sometimes they'd be out there, sometimes they wouldn't be out there. They're on their own time schedule.
So they have problems with authorities?
Oh, not so much anymore. I guess it was back in the day, when they were like, straight up outlaws. You have to know people, you can't just go walking into that stuff. And especially not in the old days, you might get shot. Because when they were saying meet on the battlefield, they weren't joking. They were actually fighting. It was like almost gang war. Tribes met on no man's land. But they're so since the late 70s, they're a little bit more accepted by the status quo. People kind of let them do what they're going to do now.
Right now it's time to kick out the jams, motherfucker!
And what brought you from Detroit to here?
Well, I used to bring Dr. John to Detroit. And then in 1971, he called me and we got together and he would be telling me about Professor Longhair and about all the characters in New Orleans and what it was like. I thought he was making it all up. It was so fantastic. I thought, man, this is a colorful guy. He was a night tripper, So I thought these were like his songs, or he was making this up, And he said, you owe it to, he said, John, you owe it to yourself to go to the Mardi Gras. And my experience was far beyond anything that I could have imagined. Tremendous dignity in these men. They have linked to a tradition that goes back hundreds of years to West Africa.
They are not looking for notoriety.
No, it is about pleasing the people of their neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Is their basic desire. By being the most beautiful on Mardi Gras. Very pure and very spiritual. When you get to the old-time chief guys like Monk Boudreaux, they are full of wisdom. Yeah, it's as beautiful as it gets in America, man. There is no better. To me, it's my religion.
My neighbor, while staying in New Orleans, was Mr. Walter Wolfman Washington, who happens to be one of John Sinclair's very close friends. What a coincidence.
The funky is the best, right?
Yeah, we're gonna do this. As far as we can get away with it, you can't stop us.
Down at Frenchman Street, some kind of spontaneous street party is taking place. Now, back to Wolfman.
One of those foots that John Sinclair. And they all know this thing.
This is the Marinée, one of the first two historic areas with the Faubourg Trémé, where as soon as the early 19th century, Creoles of color owned their houses. A neighborhood that used to be another highlight of sensual pleasure. Painter José Torres Tama is joining for a chat on facts from the past.
So here you have a plaque that actually mentions built 1817-1833 for Charles Laveau, a free man of color, said to be the father of the voodoo queen Marie Laveau. One of the few properties that you will see here where actually it mentions a free man of color. It's very important. Most of these houses were built by Creoles of color, free men of color. It doesn't tell you that the Faubourg Marigny was the second extension of the city, founded by Creoles of color. You know, the first was the Trémé, 1803, 1805 here. And Marigny, du Marigny, he had to sell off his properties. The first people who bought the properties were Creoles of color. Tommy Lafont was one of the major financiers, I guess you would call him. This gentleman, he was a very wealthy merchant, free man of color. Pre-Civil War New Orleans, that was radical because during that time period in the slave South, there was no education allowed for anyone of African descent. Marie Couvent. And these were her properties. Her story is rather epic because she came here as a slave child from Guinea at the age of 7, uneducated, unable to read, nonetheless, and also a very religious woman, nonetheless feels and understands the importance of an education for people of color. So she wills her properties at this corner to be dedicated to the founding of a school school that would offer a free Catholic education to the indigent poor of African descent, the children. The school was only founded in 1848, and they had a fight for 10 to 11 years to establish the school and put forth the money. And what were they fighting? They were fighting a pretty racist establishment that didn't want a school to educate people of color. And look at today, look at the circumstance today, how we're still fighting for schools, public schools, to properly educate the African American people here. The city has had a long, troubled legacy of recognizing its real African roots, right? You can say that New Orleans remains one of the few cities really steeped in African traditions because it goes back to the slave masters of both the French and the Spanish allowed the African slaves to have Sunday off, basically, and perform their rituals in their own way, salvaging a lot of traditions that were lost in the rest of the slave South. For example, the drumming that happened at Congo Square. Sometimes it is believed that in terms of music in the United States, New Orleans is the birthplace of its musical forms, right? Those forms are linked to an oppression that often the United States does not want to talk about. Because when you hear gospel and when you hear blues, those are the cries of a people being oppressed, right? That's what the blues are, right? The down and out, the musician speaking for those who are down and out.
And precisely the cries come close to the Marigny this morning, across St. Claude Avenue, at the First Pilgrim Baptist Church, where a ceremony is held before the burying of Herman Ernest, Dr. John's drummer for 25 years. The brass band musicians and friends are waiting outside for the procession to come out of church. tuning the brass, bass suit on. And now, the crowd will join the second line to the cemetery on a pure spirit of celebration, to the memory of the late Herman Ernest. Now the hearse is about to break through the crowd.
Hats off! Hats off!
This is what I call playing with heart. I wonder where is found this talent for facing, transcending disasters, oppression and death. Maybe the soul of the music has something to do with it. It appears to me that New Orleans, through its music, its eccentricity, its past, its art traditions, its artists and characters, its generosity, somehow escaped from the technology world format. We have a key here, a key to creativity and share.
Wasn't that cool?
New Orleans still has the power to blow our minds out. Culture must be supported, but the spirit should remain intact. Nobody wants the Mardi Gras Indians to be sponsored by Shell.
The music is part of life here. That's really the bottom line of New Orleans. It's the art-based life, you know.
And what about the Mardi Gras Indians?
I don't know, to me they're the apotheosis of American artistry, when you take them as a whole. And it's still art that's connected to the spiritual practice of art. This is the way it used to be, artists. This is the way. It wasn't about Andy Warhol. It wasn't about getting famous and rich. It was about making something to express yourself and be appreciated by the people and give to them, you know? That's where I come from. And this is still not only alive, but it's the most vital and alive manifestation of the spirit in America that I've ever seen. And I'm always looking for it. I go all over looking for this shit. But when you see these guys, you feel like being a better human being. I know I do. You feel like humbled, to me, in the face of this magnificent creation that they made, you know, out of their hearts, totally out of their hearts. Offering and trying to communicate a higher level of engagement with everyday life to the rest of the people. Yes. So they don't just sit around and shoot dope or drink beer or whatever, watch TV.
I decided to bring a religious Indian suit to the street with new commandments. I'm gonna have the old commandments, 10 commandments, but I'm gonna have 10 more new commandments for these kids out on the street that's doing what they're doing. You know, they got to respect somebody or something. You know? I figure they could have a lot of respect for the Mardi Gras Indian tradition. So I figured maybe I put this suit together and bring it to them. Yeah, I know it's gonna be a message to them because they respect this Indian thing. When we come out in these Indian suits, we get a lot of respect from our neighborhood.
I mean, this isn't like a bunch of college students. These are like poor people. These are guys that work in a gas station or, you know, sweeping a floor. I mean, or hustle. I mean, they don't have any money and they have to raise about $3,000 to $5,000 each one of them to make a suit. They're doing that for the people. At the time when the Mardi Gras Indians started their shit, the Indians, the Apaches, and the Geronimos, and the Sitting Bull were fighting. Yeah, they were up against the white man, you know. There's a fierce, culturally, historically based part of it that has to do with the reverence and the honoring of the resistance and bravery of the Native Americans against the white people. Big part. The dancing, the costuming, the secret society aspect of it. This is all stuff that goes back thousands of years, man.
This man is a charismatic figure. His name is Big Chief Doucette, Big Chief of the Flaming Arrows. I was honored he asked me to drop by. St. Joseph Night happens tonight, the only night in the year Indians are going out in the streets. And I have to know some more.
I kind of create most of my stuff right here. See, this is the strange fruit. See here, slave auction. See, they're coming off the ship, and they got them all in chains, and this is slave master, and they auction them off. And down here on my apron, this is my apron down here. They're walking down this road, and they look up in the woods, and they see the Ku Klux Klan, and they see the boy hanging in the tree right here. And look at the expressions that I put into their faces. So that's the kind of stuff like I bring to the street. I made all them myself. And Mardi Gras Day, we go get them. The tradition is the main reason that, you know, we keep this going, keeping it alive. You know, we do it in the hood. We do it in the back streets of New Orleans because, like, we wasn't accepted uptown, Canal Street. You know, still today, you know, we still Mardi Gras Indians. You know, people give us so much praise from all over everywhere, but we still not accepted here in my town on Canal Street or the parade with the big parades. So, but I mean, that's all good. You know, like I like rolling the back streets.
So you're welcome, and this is it. This is me, man. This is what I do, man. You know, and tonight is a special night, and I hope the moon shine bright, and you know, 'cause I'm trying to light it up, man. I want to light up tonight. St. Joseph Night You know, it's dark and gloomy. When I was a little boy, you know, remember St. Joseph night, they come out, when they see the Indians coming, we used to run inside. You know, oh, the Indians coming, women grab mama, grabbing us, run inside. You know, they coming up the street, shooting guns in there. You know, my uncle tell me a story. They used to just shoot over each other's head, like, you know, block away. You see them? They got them guns.
The old days,
huh? Yeah.
St. Joseph is kind of wild.
Yeah, it's a little wild. Last year, guys, they said, guys set the guy Indian stick on fire. I didn't see it. I'm sorry, Chief, whoever you were. As I heard the story, that's some wild. That's how the Indian set it on fire. You get set on fire, man. That's a. Woo, that's the worst thing you can get. I'm the wild man from the Wild Chopper Tunes, man. Bless you, man. You don't make me cry, bro. I'm telling you, this is you know, this is my suit. That's my crown in it, man. Oh wow. Letting the air hit it, man. Letting the air fuck it up. That's my crown. I'm the wild man. See that? I try to have. That's me. See this suit here? It's just how you make your suit too, man. You know, you gotta make your suit to play in. Make it easy access. But come on, let's go take a walk up the street. Bro, this is my yard. I'm gonna walk up the alley, y'all. They're gonna see you following him and they're gonna be like, what is he? This for the neighborhood, though. I do this for the neighborhood, believe me. Sunlight, but wait till the night. Tonight the moon gonna shine bright as the sun. I'm gonna be the wild, wild, wild one. Come on. All right, wait. Wild man. Pretty wild man. Wild man. Chopper tooling, yeah. Walking around Great Town.
Let me see that sign. You can't scare me.
Wild Man John of the Wild Chupitulas has to join his big queen. The sun has fallen quickly. It's not even springtime yet. Big Queen is arranging the last details of her costume with help from friends. The moon is full too.
Big Queen, Wild Chopper too low. Pretty Big Queen. Big Queen. Pretty Big Queen. Wambada. Pretty Big Queen. Way up top.
Now Wild Man and Big Queen are going to walk to some other neighborhood so to meet more Mardi Gras Indians.
What they talk about? What they talk about? Wild Chopper too low. With the Indian rulers. Early that morning, ain't nobody running. What they talk about? Let's go get 'em.
Back to Second and Dryad, where the strange birds go out in their herd in the holy back streets of New Orleans. So, who's wild? And who's the most outrageous and beautiful to be seen? Indians rule. They are the true spirit that stands in the back streets of New Orleans.
Big G White, Lord have mercy. Big G White, farm on fire. Big G White, Jockey Mofina. Big G White, Jockey Mofina. Big G White.
Here's a flag boy. Here's a spy boy. They are getting ready for confrontation. Wild magnolias, golden eagles, Apache hunters, Creole Wild West, golden arrows. Some of them stands for centuries, nourishing the flame from a generation to another, so to let crazy beauty come out. Yes, in this very neighborhood, Buddy Bolden opened the doors of jazz music a very long time ago. But the Mardi Gras Indians were already here, and they were here too when blues was played around, and rhythm and blues, and rock and roll then. They've heard it all. No matter what's big on the radio, the wild Indians are here to stay. They resisted the suffering and the mediocrity, from cultural colonialism to consumerism format. So who's bad? Big chiefs, big queens, flag boys, spy boys, wild man. A very odd human structure made out of codes buried in ancient African history and reconsidered through the fantasy of Native American culture. Thrown at the face of the world, their world. Now look, two tribes are confronted. They're getting closer and closer, respective chiefs observing each other, and finally shaking hands as a sign of respect for mutual achievement in both costume and attitude. This is turning lead into gold. One says New Orleans is the soul of America, and one could say the Mardi Gras Indians are the secret soul of New Orleans. Let's admire them as the pure jewel they represent. for us all can learn and grow out of it.
We love Big Chief. We love Big Chief.
This is the shit. This is the ultimate demonstration of the greatness of human beings. To overcome adversity and ugliness around them and create something of beauty and make everybody happy. Yes.
After the wild Indians of the Mardi Gras Indian Nation had been masking for more than 100 years to honor the Native Americans and their incredible bravery and fierce resistance and their active assistance to the African peoples held in slavery by their common oppressor.